Hi all, welcome back to the YouTube channel. Let's start rebooting work using UiPath. In today's session, we are going to discuss about set queue item. So what mean by set queue item? How set queue item has been used? So let me quickly jump back to the studio and we can have a walkthrough on that. So already I have created a process. So I'm just using the existing queue process. So where we are adding our XML files over there. So those are like delete queue, get queue method. So which are like done out in our previous sessions. So today we are going to discuss about set method in the queue. Okay. So let me search for queue. Perfect. So this is the queue attributes which we are discussing on daily sessions, right? So today we are going to discuss about only set transaction progress and set transaction status. Okay, these are the two items which we are going to discuss about in today's session. So let me give you just heads up about what actually the activity is. So this set transaction progress. What actually how it works? So it used to indicate, it used to throw some messages into the transaction item which were added into the queue. Okay, like logs. Okay, like logs in the particular transaction item. So in the business item. Okay, so set transaction status will help you to set the transaction item as a successful or failed. Okay, like you can see here, right? Successful or failed. Okay, so and this particular set transaction progress activity will be used only the transaction item which is in progress. Okay, so the item which is in progress, in those only you can able to use. Let me quickly jump back to the orchestrator queue. My UiPath services got loaded. Right click, new tab, so that I can open my orchestrator. Yep, my orchestrator page got loaded. So we are going to work. Now which queue name? So which is this queue, right? So already we have done some actions in this particular queue only, right? So we have added something as successful or something failed, like I have just tested over that. So what we can do, so we can just delete this queue. Okay, we can create a new queue. So today we, first of all, today we are going to use the mixture of activities which is used in queue. Okay, so let me delete this queue. Okay, let me add the same name. Okay, this queue does not have any values, right? So what actually we are going to do, so we are going to use our existing flow where we have done an add queue item, right? So I hope you have downloaded our workflow files from the GitHub. Okay, so in this file itself we have everything, correct? So what you can do, so we can add the item into the queue, okay, using the previous workflow file which you have which you have there, right? So add queue, so we can use that. Okay, so I have just commented off the bulk queue item and then so that add transaction item. So I hope you have gone through our initial session, like how to add into the queue. So if you have gone through those, you can find this workflow, like what I had done in this. Okay, so what actually I was doing here, so I was just reading this Excel file and just adding the item into the queue. This is the existing flow which I had done our previous session. Just save this and just run debug this so that the new items will be added into the queue, so we can start our actions over there. So in our state method today session. So let me wait for a second. I hope item has been added to the queue. I guess yeah, queue process stopped. Okay, then let me refresh. I guess all 10 new items will be added over here. Let me wait for some times. So yeah, right. So all the items has been added here. Okay, new item. So let me mark it here. Which are the things which we have studied? So new and in progress, which we have studied in add method, right? So in our first session, so delete we have studied on yesterday session and then abandoned. So we have tried on yesterday session. Yep. So only we are going to check only the successful and failed in today's session. Okay. So currently the item has been added, right? So it has been added a new item. Okay. What we are going to do? So we are going to use a mixture of activities which you have gone through on our previous sessions. Okay. To avoid confusion, let me close this. Okay, so perfect. So this particular access can be attended in two ways. One is a sequential way. Okay, so the sequential flow. Okay, otherwise you can use a flow chart, which which allow you to don't use like a while loop. So in this session, so I was going to use a while loop, which is predominantly we have to traversal into the queue and we have to get the next items. Okay. So in this way, we have to use some a looping concept, right? So that's why in sequence we have to use some looping concept like for each. But in flowchart, you just have to drag the arrow mark and to you have to drag and indicate retrying in the loop. Okay. You don't need to use any loop concept in the flowchart. Okay. So I will suggest you try with the flowchart. I will just go with the sequence. Okay, so it will give a good idea for you. So set method. Okay, perfect. So what do you have to do first? First thing. So we have like all 10 new items, right? So how do you find like how many items in the queue? Okay. So if you are going to use a loop concept, you have to know, right, how many times you have to loop. Correct. So how do you find that? So you have to have like some exact number of count, right? Correct. So to find out that, you use a get queue item. Okay. So on get queue item session, so we have purely discussed. So get queue item is used to get all the queue items. Also, we can get the count as well. Okay. So if I didn't watch our playlist, previous playlist, kindly go and watch our queue playlist. So it will give you a good idea for you. So let me paste this. Yep. So we have used get queue item. Go here, Control K. So name it as you need it. So just went to the output panel like Control K. Okay, enumerable queue item. Perfect. So as we all know that, so it will use to get the number of items in the queue. Correct. So perfect. And then count. Count function is used to get the count. Not to string. Correct. So here, as we know that we can allow what are the items we need to filter. Since we have only new items, so no need to mark anything, right? Save, debug. So it will give an account now, right? So it should give a count 10. So once you give the count 10, so you can go with any other looping concepts, so that you can iterate until the queue item get ended, right? Correct. So if you are going with the flow chart, you don't need to do these things. So you have to drag the arrow mark and you have to use in a retry way. That's it. Okay. So you got the output, which is 10, which is right. Okay. So what I can do next? So you have to get get transaction item from the queue. You have to get item, correct? So let me search it as queue so that you can see all the activities of queue. Okay, right? So get queue item. What a get queue item will do? It will get the item from the queue and it is marked as in progress, correct? So to mark any transaction as a successful or failed, it should be in progress first. Okay, so if the item is in progress, so initially like item will be added into the queue, it will be new status. If the bot picks the particular item for processing, it will be marked as in progress. Okay, so once it is in progress, the transaction item is which is in progress, which is took by bot, it will be indicated in progress, and that particular item only can be marked as successful or failed. Okay, based upon business criteria. Okay, so we got the overall count, so we can directly go with the looping concepts. Okay, so we can go with any looping concept and we can do all those stuffs now. So for that, I'll just refer a while loop. Okay, so while loop will help you to traversal until your condition met. Correct. So and then, so how I will be indicating queue item dot count. It's getting slow bit. Okay. So here I should have some variable, right, to increment. So what I can do, I can drag assign. Okay. Make a control K counter. Okay. Indicate as int counter. Okay. So that will make more sense. Control K. That's it. Perfect. Go here. It will be default string integer. Change the value as, so keep the value as 1. Okay. Condition int equal to. So what actually it will mean? So it should satisfy the condition until unless this int counter getting greater than 10, greater than, or if it is 11, the condition will become false and it will get out of loop until unless it will get the transaction item from the queue. Okay, as we all know that get transaction item will pick only one item from the queue if you are not using the looping concept. Okay, so if you are using the flow concept, you can make your arrow marks highlighting over there. Okay, so get transaction item. Okay, so what this get transaction item it will help you to get the transaction item from the queue, right? So what is the queue name? This is the queue name. Space store here. Okay, so what is the output? Transaction item, correct? Transaction item. If you're not wrong, transaction item. So just make it as trans item. I hope why I was using in this particular get transaction item inside the loop. So if you're using outside loop, it will take only one item and it will get end the transaction. We have 10 items, right? Those 10 need to be processed, not only one, correct? So that's why I have found using the get queue item, I have found the count and then inside that I was using it. Okay. So what I will do now? So I will make a business condition here. Okay. So before that we can write some output over there. Okay. So that we can find what actually we are getting from the queue. Okay. So trans item. Okay. So if you want to read something from the, if you want to read some value which is in queue. Okay. The data which is in queue. If you want to read the item which is inside this queue transaction item, you have to use this generic term which is nothing but dot specific content. Okay, open bracket, close bracket, double quotes. Inside that you have to provide the name. Okay, dot to string. Okay, just copy this into both right line. Okay, you can use a single right line or two right lines, it's up to you. Just copy the WID over here from here. Okay, so this name should be same. Okay, what I have done, trans item. So this is the output variable of get transaction item dot specific content. It is a function which help you to get the value from the queue. It will use to translate. Okay, exactly to the term. Description, copy this, go here. Okay, paste here. So what it will do, each and every item, so it took from the queue and then it will print so that we can see, right? So what are the transactions it has picked and it is working. Okay, so we can make it simple, very simple. So let me copy this. Okay, let me paste over here. I was just going to make a tricky condition. Okay, if condition. Why? Because so for state status, something need to be failed, something need to be successful. Correct. I have to differentiate. Okay. So not contain. Let me make equals double quotes. Okay, so you may be wondering what I was trying to do now. So I was trying to do a successful condition as well as failed condition. Okay, so let me take this description. Okay, these are let's consider these are like processes. Okay, process what we are doing in our company. So everything will be a process this team A team will do some process, B team will do some process. Likewise these are a process. Okay, only this verification account process it out of scope, which means this process is went for another company. We are not no longer we are supporting for this particular process. Apart from this all other process. Okay, this description is nothing but process that consider. Okay, so process only we are not supporting to this process. Apart from this others we are supporting, other process we are supporting. Okay, so this is the main scenario. So what I will do, I'll just copy this. Okay, I'll just paste this. Okay, so if this specific content, what it mean, translation item. So which I get from the transaction item, content, specific content, description. If it is equal to this verify account, if it is equal to this particular name. Okay, what it has been, what does that do? So it has set the transaction as failed. Okay, so because why it is failed? So we are not using that particular business item, line item from from in future, correct? So that's why. So before using this, okay, let me go here. Okay, will be not having any notes, right? So, if you are if the person who is aware about the process, Okay, so I was new to the process. I'll be no like I'll be if the process have lead and the new employee. Okay, new employee came to the process. Lead may be aware. Okay, seeing the process from the Excel, this is not in use. Okay, but the developer, new developer who comes to the process should know, right? So where he can find that? So we can make indicate in the item itself, in queue item itself. Okay, here itself we can make indicate. So to make this indication, so we can use first set transaction progress. So what you can do, so this will take the progress is string. Okay, string means double quotes, like this line item, this line item is this line item is not in business scope. Okay, this line item is not in business scope. Okay, we are not supporting for this business. Okay, this business, this particular business has been moved to the Y company. They took this process and they are doing. Apart from other process, we are like supporting now. Okay, just copy this, just paste this. Okay, if it is not, then just make it simple. Business in scope. Okay, very simple. And then trans item, the variable which you are getting output correct from get transaction. Just mark this one, trans item. Perfect. What actually it will do, so it will go to the each transaction. So when it pick this particular transaction item, so manually how the bot works, I will explain now. Okay, so it is new, right? So the bot will pick this particular transaction item. It will make the status as in progress. Once it is in progress, what bot will do? So it will like mark some notes over here. Okay, it will make some notes that whether this particular item is in scope or not. Okay, that's what we are doing. So and next step, which is set transaction status. These are the two set activity which are planned to discuss today's session, right? Just copy here, just paste over here, both the things. Okay. Same trans item, same trans item. Okay. So, but this side we have to mark it as failed. Why failed? So we know that, right? So this is not in our business scope. So just copy the same remarks. Okay. So if you are marked as failed, you need to provide some reasons. So why this particular item need to be marked as fail? Okay, perfect. So this is by default it will be success. Okay, if you want to note it also, you can make notes for success also if you need. Okay, if it is a fail, it is a mandatory to note it down. If it is successful, if it is may or may not, if you need it. Okay, so so finally we have done the entire flow. So what actually it will do? It will get the entire queue item. Okay, so total number of item will be 10. Okay, so 10 items. Okay, so the next, so we have made a int counter. Okay, so it will check for the condition, get item from the queue. Okay, so then it will start print the values, which is WID, which is nothing but here WID and description. If the description it matches to the verify account position, this business is not no more with us. Okay, some other company took a contract and they are working is, if we are getting this particular name, we have to send like this line item is not in our scope. Okay, what this particular set transaction progress it will do, it will make a indication in each and every line item. Okay, so as of now you are not able to see any notes right here. So once I run this bot, you can see some. Okay, and then so if you want to mark this as like successful or failed, so you have to use the set transaction item failed. If you fail, mandatory reason. Okay, so we have missed one thing here. What? So it will run in an infinite loop until unless we're not giving a increment counter, it will move to the infinite, right? So what I have to do now? So increment. So counter, sorry, int count, sorry, int count plus 1. What actually it will mean? So initial value will be 1. So 1 plus 1 on increment. The second time if it come, the value will be 3. 3 plus 1 4. Likewise, it will keep on increment. Once it will came out of loop, it will come out. Okay. So let me start running. So let me make debug point. Okay. So let me make debug. So when I say debug, so come this panel. Okay, click on breakpoint. Okay, why I was want to make a breakpoint? I want to see slowly. Okay, something I have to make a pass here. Okay, save this, run this now. Perfect, right? You can make here itself. Perfect. We can wait for some times now. Okay, so we have 10 line items. So let me give continue. Okay, so no need to make breakpoints. Okay, to show you in a visualized way, so I was using a breakpoint. Okay, so it got the item which is 5067. Go here. So it is a research business copy. We can go into the queue and we can check there from there. Okay. Okay, see this item is marked as successful now. Why it is in progress? The bot has took this item now. Okay, so after it moved from the get transaction item, this particular item is marked, new item is marked as in progress, right? So now see, you can make a breakpoint here itself also. If condition, okay, it came here, it printed, okay. So let make a breakpoint here as well. Okay. So I was using this breakpoint to indicate so whether like where it is going. So it is going in the else part since it is not verify account, correct? So let me make it here. Okay, right? So now see it will be marked as successful. It will be this will be marked as in progress now. Correct? So let me remove this debug point here. Okay. Only we can make here only debug point. Okay. Here. Okay, perfect. So it is also else. Okay. It's also else. So likewise each and every item will be marked now here. Okay, you can see here. Can here see now this item. Okay. So you can refresh here now. Okay. The item which is in progress, it should be marked as business exception. Why? Just go here, view. Okay, it should be. Why? Because it's a verify account, correct? So let me continue now. Okay, it's done. So let make a refresh. Okay, it is marked as business exception, correct? Failed. So let me remove the debug point. So and then we can take it as very simple. Okay, I just ran that now. So it will be done now. So actually, which I said earlier, so you don't need to use a debug points. Okay. So I have used debug point to visualize each and everything in a clear way. That's why I done that. So just refresh. Okay, perfect, right? So let me go here, click on view details. Okay. So you can see some notes which is business in progress. Where it came? So it came from the set transaction in progress. Okay. So it came from the so here. So what actually it will do? It will throw some message on the each and every transaction. You're getting right point. So what I was saying now. So if the person who is new to like company also from the Q item itself we can find this is oh okay this item okay it is in business in scope okay it is in scope. Likewise okay so if you go to failed okay see the line item is not in business scope okay which you are used in the set transaction in progress. Okay, and the reason for the to make marked failed, the line item is not in business scope. The same remarks we have used, right? So in the failed also. So that's why both are same, look same. Okay, but you got idea, right? So how to use the set transaction progress. Set transaction progress will help you to indicate some notes or remarks into the transaction item. Okay, transaction item which you have, and then so this set transaction will help you to mark the item as successful or failed. I hope this makes sense, right? So I hope you will be clear. So you can see here like exception is business. So which you have marked. Okay, so the exception will be business. So you can change the error type also. Since it is a business and not in scope, I have just marked as business. Okay. So yeah, this is the entire flow, like how we have to use, like, okay. So the set transaction progress, note down one thing, one more thing, main point here. So which I have said already, I will just remind you now. Okay, this set transaction in progress will take only the item which is in progress. Okay, so why this is worked for us? So we have used a get transaction item which will put the item into in progress state. That's why it is working. Okay, if you are using, if you are not, if you are blankly using this inside, like if you are not using a looping concept, you are directly using this send transaction progress state like activity only, then you will be end up with the error. Okay, so the item, okay, remind this, the item which is in progress, okay, during those phase only this set transaction will work. Okay, so how it works? So it get the item from the queue, total numbers. Okay, it will pull the status, it will put the item into the new item in progress. Okay, this new item in progress state. Okay, so since it is in progress state, it came inside. So as we all know that the set transaction like progress activity will pick work only on helps to create the custom progress status for your business in transactions, right? So since already this item will be in progress, so it put the status and then it marked as successful or failed. Okay, you cannot make the set transaction progress for the already successful or like a failed transaction. Okay, so I hope this is very much clear. Like I have explained in depth conceptually, like how it works and how it runs. I hope you like the video. Thanks for watching. Happy learning. Do subscribe, like, share.